Been a couple days since the last one of these, so next order of business is gonna be kind of an interesting map. It's funny because on like casual run-throughs, I'm really not a fan of this map, but when it comes to challenge runs, I just love the fact that you can kind of cheese the thing. Anywho, so what we gotta make sure is that we have some means of exorcism, which we already have here. Just kind of going over to see, kind of for a reminder of what I actually need / have. Alright, what we got here? Sanctuary. That'll be useful for POTD later, I feel. Don't think I should pick it up just yet. So, even though there's some skills that I'm fairly certain I'm going to get right now, I'm not going to spend anything for the time being, because if I need anything in Farampa, I really don't want to exit and come back for that. The exception being here, if I can get to Rampart 2, that would be incredibly useful. Because, yeah, eventual goal here, if it's at all possible, is to get the White Knight to the point of having Rampart 2 early, essentially create a situation where he can lock himself within within an area there. This is specifically going to be that U-shaped map, and then just kind of slowly plot our way through there. But realistically, with how much good stuff we've seen from the Zeiston lately, I'm not even sure that'll be necessary. So let's see what we need to do. Are you sure you want to use this party? This party of one? Yes. Yes, I'm very certain. So, recently... actually, I think I'll probably touch on this later. I was going to say, recently I've been kind of eyeballing another run after this, after finishing uploading the vanilla solo run. Because there was one for vanilla that I wanted to try for a decent bit there, which was a no-attacking run. Like a solo no-attack run. Which seems really stupid, but technically speaking, at any given point, you can just create a situation where, like, all you ever use is consumables. So, like, consumable spells, consumable items, and whatever else. It's like throwable items are... okay, so at first I was thinking, like, throw-only run. Then I was thinking spell-only run. You know, all solo and everything, but it's like, what if you just combined all of them into a consumable-only run? So that would be really dang fun, because that basically means that absolutely every single move in the entire game has to be calculated, plus there's no counterattacking or anything else, so I'm not even entirely sure how that would work out. I mean, I guess there can be countering, it's just it would only be with throwing axes and stuff. So, cool thing about this map, if you never knew, these three highwaymen over here, basically one for each of the main factions. Got a Bachmo Walliser and a Galgastani. Interestingly enough, they just kind of hang out. It's kind of another one of those neutral AI type situations, but yeah, there's just one representative for each one. They're like, just we're hanging out peacefully in the woods, don't bother us. And so you can absolutely just not bother them. So, you know, that's an option. I'm going to go ahead and drop a Phalanx right here. They're absolutely fantastic for messing up movement. Really, really good for just getting stuff out of your way. So we might use the Knight a bit more than I expected. But yeah, so we can basically just hold out almost anywhere, just keep poking away at stuff. Should be good times. So, as long as you don't attack the skeletons first, they won't attack you most of the time. Now, there's some world states, I feel, that cause them to attack you. I don't know what they are, but on some runs they've attacked, on others they haven't, and like they've stayed consistent on that thing, so that basically tells me that, yeah, it's probably a world state thing. So I don't know if it's like maybe certain story decisions or whatever else will decide whether their skeletons come back to haunt you, or who knows what. It certainly feels like the kind of game that would pull those kinds of shenanigans. But yeah. Just kind of something interesting. Wish this guy hadn't stepped on that tile, but he's going to go take our card. I mean, it's an MP card. We're not going to get too much use out of it, but hey, there could have been something really specific later that I needed it for. You never know. So yeah, really liking the performance of the Light Spear so far. Doing a good job. Feeling pretty solid. One of the main reasons I was kind of routing in the White Knight. So in the base game, you could have two different flavors of exorcism with you at any given point. When it comes to OV, I mean, they're a bit more limited. You basically got holy water in terms of items. So instead of like Exorcism 1, Banish, Exorcism 2, etc., like you could have up to 300 exorcisms with you at any given time, which going through Palace of the Dead, it's enough. Well, more than enough. I mean, to be fair, 99 holy waters is going to be enough. Just because every few floors you've got a store that you can go to, but it does get very expensive. So, anywho, what I was kind of gonna do is use the White Knight because they've got a free exorcism that they can use. Actually, I don't want this here. Let me check if this guy is his moves. Rampart, Tail-Lash, Flame Breath. Okay. In the interest of defense, I'm just gonna probably drop a Phalanx right here. Just kind of keep this guy away for a turn. So that, yeah, if he wants to use his move, he has to do it from the front. That's actually not fantastic. Oh well. Alright, maybe not the best move, but hey, at least I got more statues, you know? At least they're out there! Right. Doing a shield bash, doing a poke, good stuff. Man, oh man, I'm just so glad that that spears turned out to be more useful than I expected for this run. It's hard to explain how excited I am for that, just because I love the fact that I could route in spears for the vanilla solo run. And for the fact that they can be pulled off in this too, oh, that just makes me happy. This makes me so happy. Because as much as I love two-handers, they're a cool thing, it's just, spears are the, you know, they're awesome. They're the most basic thing, and they're just, they're nice. They're snazzy, they're nice. Alright. Almost one-shotting a dragon. Please be a strength card, hell yeah. Good stuff. So yeah, strength actually does boost the spear. Despite what Dark Souls and a few other games like to put out there, spears are very much a strength weapon. And thankfully, this one realized that, so that's nice. So yeah, if you were also wondering, like me, like whenever you went and you got your best Dex characters and stuff like that for the vanilla game and stuff like that, I was like, oh, well, why aren't they doing so good? It's because it was a strength weapon. So like an ideal, if you wanted to make a good spear user, like let's say out of the Fencer, you'd probably give them a few levels in a Berserker or something like that. You'd give them a few levels in a casting class of some description, and then you'd go and put them into their Fencer role. So, you know, it's a few extra steps, but you'd get some good stuff out of them. Yeah, I feel like we can cheese the hell out of this low-level situation. We got a good chunk of classes that can make use of this low-level spear. Really should have thought of this the first time through instead of creating that whole challenging scenario. And yeah, it might turn out that we got that big two-hander for nothing. Oh man, I almost kind of want that to happen because that'd be amazing. So yeah, despite the fact that these guys are neutral, you still gotta kill them in order to actually beat the fight. So they'll turn on you the moment you start attacking on them. I think if the AI attacks them, they'll also turn on and start attacking you. But I'm not 100% certain on that. Just pop a regular Mend Leaf just to get health up a little bit. Top off and all that kind of business. Yeah, I got a Baldur Rod. Yeah, Baldur Maces in the base game are a lot better than actually than I gave him credit for in previous runs and all that kind of thing. I found myself using that thing a pretty decent bit on that run. All right, get a Fearful Impact. So I want that one gone first. If I can dispel them by chance. I don't think I have dispel. It's too late. Parry, please, parry. Good. All right. Good. So yeah, you are by far the biggest threat. So yeah, if you see a TK, make it go away. Probably should have dropped a Phalanx or something to prevent that move, but it's alright. It's all good. I'm not immune to poison. I think we're about to have a fuss in the other room in just a moment. My son is trying to pull some shenanigans on stacking some toys together, and he's going to get real pissed off as soon as they fall. There we go. There we go. Alright, pardon me just one moment. Alrighty, and I'm back. Continuing on. Just gonna put Bind Light on, get a little bit more experience out of this. Go over here. Actually, no, I won't. Yeah, that guy won't counter. That's a guaranteed hit. Let's go ahead and take that one. Because I want to pick up this item before they decide to attack and go grab it, whatever it happens to be. Yeah, it's nothing very much, but still, it's more stuff that we can sell. It's either sell fodder or crafting ingredients. There's certain books that we'll want to pick up while we're in this forest. We haven't run into yet, but we're getting there pretty soon. In fact, I'm just going to go ahead and pull up the guide for where all those are over on the other screen here. Actually, we don't need to take out that skeleton. Giga Tempest! I just want to use it just because it looks awesome. Wow. So yeah, Giga Tempest still an AOE, but not as strong as it was before. So we're not going to be running around sweeping aside groups of people like in vanilla, but you know, it's pretty dang strong. So it feels like Ruination is the new Spiral Scourge, and I mean, Giga Tempest is still pretty awesome. Actually, just a quick reminder to myself here. That's accuracy scaling. I was gonna say before it was damage scaling. I'm fairly certain. Let's see. Does lightning, air, fire? I feel like we should probably be learning to scale fire. It's Og Fire. Alright. Yeah, Og Light, pretty strong. Plus we can train it up right now. But also Og Fire, though. Now, problem is getting a one-handed fire spear later. A little bit of a thing. It's the, I think it's called the Finial. Which actually got me thinking, I think I think we can actually get the crafting book to make that thing here, if I'm remembering right. So let's double check here. So yeah, I know that this is the one where we get the spear one. So let's see. Yeah, it's the flying fencer in the back. Just needed to get a little bit of a clarification on which one exactly, because there are a few that can spawn. So we're gonna get the spear book then. So spear and Chariot, you can basically get the advanced spear crafting book. Very handy. Alright, do we get any new ones yet? No, the Spatoon is at 13. So yeah, we're still running pretty well here. So this is kind of when crafting books can start. This one's open as of Chapter 2. So let me just get a quick reminder here. So Wingfolk, neutral, one hand or spear. It's one of these ones that spawns on the left. So yeah, he's got a spear. He's a lawful. So it's not going to be that guy. And yeah, so we're going to go ahead and quit out of this. You're all done? Okay, let me go check what you did there, okay? Alright, one moment. Let me see what you did there. Just a sec. Alright, and back, so away we go. So, as I was mentioning at the start of the run, there is one exception that I was making to the kind of cheesing the single-turn chariot thing. So if you didn't know, as long as you're still on your turn, if you basically tap chariot and select yourself, it automatically resets your turn. So the one exception I was saying that I would do to you can kind of just use that to cheese your drops. So the one exception I was going to make to that was for the crafting books, because, to be honest, it's not like it gives anything extra to do the same fight 50 times to go and pick up the crafting book. It depends on what part of the game you're in. So, to kind of better explain, as the game's going along, you're kind of running into different drop tables over and over. So early on here, they can drop a lot of junk. Oh, you want some more crackers? More crackers? Okay. I am being ordered to deliver some crackers, so once again, be right back. Alright, back again. Sorry about that. So, yeah, we're looking for a spear or sword guy that's neutral for anyone just turning up here. We're trying to get the spear crafting book. So to kind of explain why I'm allowing that kind of cheesiness as far as the crafting books go, a lot of the end game stuff takes a lot longer to get unless you've got the crafting books. Some things are unique to them. And in the original, well, basically the whole rest of the series, whenever there was a unique item of some description, well, the unit in question would A, always spawn, and B, always drop that thing. Which, you know, makes sense. If you're gonna have a one-time encounter, well, I mean, if you're gonna have unique drop there, then you should allow that to be a thing that happens. So, instead, for whatever reason for this one, they suddenly decided to go by MMO rules in which, like, for some story fights, there will be guaranteed drops, but for any of the crafting books, it's like, it's basically 50-50 chance to drop either a bag or a card, and then from there, it's, it just kind of depends throughout the game what they might have here. So, like, at this point in the game, more than likely, it's going to be, like, you know, 4 or 5 different crafting ingredients that are there that they might have. It'll be the equipment that they're carrying, it'll be some, like, random consumable items or something like that. So, overall, like, maybe your odds of getting that book are, like, 10% or so. So, it's kind of an annoying way that they implemented it. I think he's one tile over now. I think this might be the one that we needed. This guy in particular, like, it just rolls kind of for whoever happens to show up here. So sometimes it does get a little annoying to try to get them to spawn. If you're wondering, it also seems to decide RNG for some of these things based off ticks. So if you load a save state and you go immediately back to the same fight, it doesn't necessarily reload it if you acted at around the same time, because I think the ticks are in-game seconds in this case. Because I've waited like a moment and then let it happen, and then it still was the same kind of situation. Where it just wasn't the right setup spawning, or it would just spawn the same thing. Kind of weird how that works, but, you know, little quirks of the game. So yeah, they didn't even spawn this time, or no fencers spawned that time. So we're just waiting for that one guy. Like, this gets even more amazing when you think about how you're supposed to friggin' figure out to get the Reaver ring at any point, which I'm probably not going to bother with this time around. It doesn't necessarily benefit me enough to bother going for the thing. It's basically a bunch of speed-related stats, and then you get a couple of uses of Speed Star. There we go, that's our guy. So I'm going to go ahead and save state it here. Just so we don't have to reload this battle several times if it goes south. A little bit annoying for that guy to spawn, so his name's Wyatt. The way that I'm going to do this, by the way, is I dropped a save state at the very start there. I will allow the turn resetting thing, which, by the way, does not count for Chariot use as far as the game's concerned. So, no real worry there. That's why it's considered kind of cheesing it, because it basically allows you to reset your turn, but it doesn't count it as a turn reset in the system. It's mostly there as a feature to let you reset, like, if you just move to the wrong tile, or you end up selecting the wrong button. It's an anti-frustration feature, which, you know, it definitely makes sense. There's a lot of stuff in this game that would definitely get on your nerves if some of those features weren't there. And I have a feeling they must have had some sort of feedback like that when they were making it originally. Because, man, oh man, are there a lot of anti-frustration features in this game. And for some reason, instead of, you know, fixing the underlying causes of some of them, they just slapped a bunch of band-aids all over them. Like, oh man, units are going down everywhere. Well, I mean, here, just give them a bleed-out counter. Like, oh man, I didn't bother to get them up. They died anyway. 3 lives, sure. Like, oh man, I don't know, my units are gone. Okay, fine, you can put them back into the fight then. It's like, oh, I don't know, man, I can't heal them enough. Like, oh, fine, if you spend like half an hour crafting items, you can make a bunch of really good healing items that'll heal everybody fully. Oh, I don't know, man. Now it feels like healing's too good. Okay, fine, the clerics can't scale anymore. How's that work? It's just, it's like, I have a feeling they made clerics suck so that they could nerf the AI, so that they could then, like, make the rest of the game a little bit easier for newer folks. It's just like all this kind of back and forth there. Could be completely wrong on that, but that's just kind of how it feels like to me here. So yeah, Giga Tempest, not super worth it in this particular juncture. This is one of those ones I expected to use Mending Seeds for, so we'll be good there. Actually, I should probably check real quick. There's no chat yet, right? Okay, good. Just making sure. Just making sure. This is the guy we need, right? Yeah, Wyatt. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and drop a Phalanx right there so nobody's getting behind us. They can still take the sides, but that's fine. Yeah, low-level archers won't be too much of a thing. We've got pretty low-powered weapons at this point. Archers definitely get pretty strong as their tech progresses. But they definitely get slow as well. And I need to remember... Definitely need to remember to pick up, what am I thinking of here? Brain, good morning, how's it going? Need to remember to pick up poison immunity. Yeah, I think we'll just finish off this guy, because I don't want to get poisoned. That'll put us into the screw zone for sure. Alright, dropped a thing. So what we're going to do is just we're going to allow that turn... See, like, there we go. That guy just rolled a crap load of stuff that he could potentially drop. I believe it's... Like, I think that was the maximum number of things they can roll, but it's just like a chance to roll everything on their list, basically. Okay, so they're getting to the point of just using Dispel all the time now. Good to know. Actually, wait, I think they already could do that at level 10. Whatever. The Instill Light was just kind of for the sake of training. It's a little bit of extra damage for later. Ah, that useful parry. You're just such a good skill. So clerics are pretty unlikely on this map. They'll be flying, if anything, so it's kind of annoying to tell who's who. But it doesn't look like we had any come up this time. Alright, perfect. You'd think I'd be annoyed by him doing that, but no, that's actually perfect that he's that kind of fencer. I mean, sure, I'll take that trade. Ah, don't get... Okay, crap. False Strike isn't good in this case. So yeah, the reason that I'm glad that he's doing that weird attack there is simply because then he won't get himself counter-killed. Alright. That won't really help in this case. It's gonna Mend Seed, I think. Alright, I'm gonna put one back there. Because I want to have a little means to duck around that right side there if I need to. Because they can't really follow you around your own phalanxes, so they're good to set up ahead of time. It's basically handy to have there as like a, okay, I might need to go head that way. Let me put a couple down, it'll screw up their movement and buy me a turn or two. Only have to deal with ranged attacks at that point. And every time this guy is hitting us with Spark Sphere, it is giving us a little bit of fire training. So you know what? We might even cheese that too. Ah, why not? Right. Let's go for the stab here, and yes, he dropped a card, and it's a Temperance, and I'm okay with this. Alright, so we shouldn't need that path around the right. Resistance is always handy. Just because we're going to be running into endless amounts of casters. Actually, if we can get resistance up pretty high, there's the very first fight in POTD is one of the hardest on a solo run like this. So it was already kind of iffy when it came to the vanilla version. But it's a situation where it's an entire party of only casters, and they will screw you up good if you give them a turn. So the problem is you got to get down there quick before they can get any of their big fancy debuffs out. At the same time, you basically, well, you kind of almost got to last them out in order to be able to even pull off getting down there, because it's a reasonably long distance. So in order to be able to get down there fast enough and aggressively enough, you basically got to do a situation where you pick up a flight or teleport ring, which is actually possible. A lot of folks think you can only get them in POTD, but no, you can actually get them in the fortress fights. So yeah, you can, you got to go get that. You got to go, Well, silence doesn't really hurt us much. So yeah, you gotta go do that. You gotta go have a pretty reasonably tanky setup. The problem that I kept running into is because I kept trying to do it with a two-hander. Now that I know that I can bring a shield, that really changes things a whole lot, because that makes that fight a hell of a lot easier. It's just, after a while of testing out the different one-hander weapons, I just never really thought that... when it comes to TP+, I never thought that it would be raising it by, like, a hard amount. It's apparently about 1 damage per tick, or per point. It just didn't occur to me that potentially, when it's talking about those points, well, it would just be talking about damage points, not like a percentage, because everything up to that point has been scaling by percentage to some degree. So when it's coming in with like, oh, you kind of can get 200 extra damage on this spear off a finisher, so suddenly you can get an almost guaranteed 200 to 300 damage on any unit in the game. Like, yes, the thing that we're going for here, the Dragon Slayer, that's gonna... Wow, lady, you just killed off your own dude. Good job. So yeah, the weapon that we're going for there will be enough to do like 600 under certain circumstances, or up to like 2,000 per, depending on the situation. But in general, it's, you know, it's going to be more practical to go for something like this, where you're just really, really bulky and can sort of just recover, you know, do everything very slowly, methodically, and then just take those big chunky hits when needed. It's like right now I have the touch of death against almost anything on this map. So what I'm going to do is set it up to about 2 units, because I was really happy with the card drops this time around. So I'm going to make sure that I can kind of insta-kill Wyatt. I got to make sure he drops a bag, because yeah, actually we do have to restart the fight if... Yeah, I really don't want to use save state cheese. I might just do mid-fight saves for that one. Hi there, Proco. How's it going? So yeah, you can do mid-fight saves. It doesn't count as anything for the game's purposes, or for the title. So yeah, that's basically if you do this. So you just go here. Would you like to save your progress? Yes. Then if you go and collect the bag and end your turn, then, you know, then you can just reload that save. I don't want to use this for the purposes of cheesing any strategy, but when it comes to like crap like this, where it's just like, will this guy drop bag, then, you know. Hi there, Smile Sheep. How's it going? So like, if I reset my turn right there, it doesn't count as a Chariot use, because it was still my turn, so therefore I haven't taken my hand off the piece, so haha, chess rules. Alright. So he dropped a bag. So the way that we find out whether this was actually a thing or not is we interrupt the turn right there. We don't do anything farther. Then we go ahead and trigger the retreat here, and then it'll just tell us if it was the thing that dropped. And no, it was leather pants, because of course it was. Alright, so then we just reload that. Do you want to exit and return? Yes, I do. But yeah, so the only reason, like I said, the only reason I'm doing that is because eventually, for One Vision, he's mentioned that these will be guaranteed drops. Because it makes no sense to have a game where so much of your endgame content is in these crafting books, and then they're like, no, you just can't use it, though. Oh wait, I forgot to actually turn on my Insta Light. It's like, yeah, you apparently didn't want those crafting books at all. Just go run through Farampa all over again, which this one, I admit, is close enough that it's not too much of a big deal, you know, to get back to this fight and redo it again. It's just, it's tedious, and I don't want to do that. So yeah, that's kind of the long and short of it. Like, this particular fight, I didn't even need the crafting book, but I just instinctively always want to get it, and I went through it so many times on vanilla, it's not even funny. Like, I think I cut that part out, but I think after about 2 hours, the stupid book still didn't spawn, and I just kept redoing the fight, and redoing the fight, and redoing the fight, because the fight itself isn't that challenging. Like, as you can see, I can one-shot everything on the map. It's Like, if I take any injury, I can just heal back half the health bar, no problem. The only challenge is getting this guy to drop his friggin' book. So, you know. Once we get to higher levels of this particular area, yes, we'll have more problems. I'll just go ahead and delete this guy real quick, because an empowered octopus is pretty scary, actually. Oh, there we go. And yeah, actually, if we're going to allow mid-battle saves, then I guess I might as well just leave Wyatt for the last enemy and then just keep redoing it. That's probably the fastest way to do this. Like, I think the best example... so, I think you guys have seen Mr. Foles around here, right? Wigraff Foles. He's the guy that did the 100% run of Vanilla. And yeah, it took him about, I think, like, somewhere between 6 to 7 months to actually... Like, this is before even his first video thing had come out there, so it might have been even as much as 8. But, yeah, it took him months to actually be able to get all the drops and everything, because some of them are that tedious to get a hold of. And this was with a team with basically completely maxed out stats. They could wipe every map within a few seconds, but it didn't matter. Like, actually, at one point, they just went over to grinding, and just, yeah, there's one map that you can do in Chapter 4, that all you gotta do is take a single shot all the way across the map, and you can just snipe the leader over and over and over for a crapload of XP. So stuff like that, you know, it's just... well, I guess not stuff like that, what am I saying? My point being is that when it comes to drops and everything else, this game really dropped the ball. So, currently, Rakes is going through... I mean, they have to go and adjust every single unit manually. So, he said that the way that it's going to work is once the unit actually spawns, it will be guaranteed to drop the crafting book. Yes, that means they won't drop loot after they... well, they won't necessarily drop all the loot they could later when maybe you want them to, but that's ridiculously minor compared to being able to get the thing you likely went there for. Because I think a lot of folks, I mean myself included, whenever they went through the game the first time, they were very confused once they got to the end game, because here's all these NPCs running around with all this fancy equipment. They can't buy it in any store, they can't make it, they can't do any of that. So their only option is to just go and recruit them to their team, which is kind of difficult when their equipment is so much better that they can barely, you know, fight them at all. And so, I mean, like, personally, after I got to Coda for the first time, I was just stuck. I was like, okay, so I can't do this whatever post-game stuff is going on here. I'm not sure what I did wrong. You know, we just trounced the last boss like nothing, but then suddenly all these just rando fights are near unwinnable. So I try using the feature to go back in time, and suddenly everything's scaled up, and I didn't really understand why, which, I mean, yes, now I know how the thing works at this point, but for somebody just going into it, it's super confusing. So yeah, it made no sense, and was just confused and confused and confused, couldn't figure out where to get a hold of anything. The first crafting book I ended up eventually getting, aside from the story ones, was, I believe it was like a leg guard Enchiridion or something that I picked up in Pirate's Graveyard. So after I figured out that the archers were pretty much the only thing that could do damage to anything, just turned the entire team into archers, gave them all the best crossbows I could find, and then just went around sniping everything. And yeah, just ended up picking up one of those Enchiridions there. It was like, okay, so apparently you're supposed to find all these rare books all over the place, so I'm going around to all these random dungeons trying to figure out, you know, where exactly you get them to drop. Couldn't figure it out at all, and apparently this was a pretty massive heap of frustration for people that never bought the guide, because they're like, okay, how the hell do I actually make endgame viable? Because this information isn't anywhere, and it really would have been nice of them to put something in the Warren report or something like, you know, oh, an expert on leg armor or whatever else was seen wandering into the Pirate's Graveyard and they died there or something, you know. It would have been cool to have little notes or little hints scattered about, which I think, given enough time, they probably would have done. I just get the feeling that, yeah, they, just like everything else, they ran out of time, they didn't quite get to it, so There's a few cases where they do stuff that makes sense. Like, for what it's worth, whenever a unit can actually drop that crafting book, they will always have that weapon type, with 2 exceptions for some friggin' reason. Not sure why those 2 exceptions are there, but whatever. You know what? We'll just blame it on the usual Matsuno's just a crazy nut and leave it at that. But, oh well. Alright, so we'll kill off that other guy. And then we'll leave Wyatt for the very end. Drop a little bit of a save. Make sure that he drops a bag. And yeah, just kind of continue cheesing it. Or, no, maybe the quicker way would be like this. Would you like to save your progress? Yes. So we'll just do that. Yes, it's a little cheesy, but like I said, it's going to save so much time that I'm really not too concerned about it. Anybody that's run this game for any amount of time would certainly agree. It's not a feature that was implemented well. Alright, are you going to be the crafting book? Please. Stop giving me your pants, sir. I am not interested in your pants. I would like to get your literature if I could, because I need to figure out how to put pointy things on sticks. Oh yeah, and this is how the seeding works for this, by the way. So every time you take a different action of any type, it will give you a different situation. So moving 1 tile, using a skill before you move, any of that will change how this rolls. So usually the best bet is you just go around, do your basic attacks all over the place. Just kind of get them down that way. Then if you don't get what you're looking for, you go ahead and you go back again. You put out a skill first, and again with the leather pants. All right, fast forward time. You will drop your book. Because I need to figure out how to make spears. More than likely I won't be able to use any of them for a very long time. But that doesn't really matter too much right now. Right. I don't think this was the tile from last time. Dang it. Alright. Now we just put it in still light. And this is kind of the way you do it. Alright. We're going to go ahead and change the turn here. Go ahead and save it on this turn. Get a new set of tiles to work with, and then we'll go ahead and go for that drop some more. Delete, drop bag, come on, be the book. You dick. The things I go to for a technicality. Not really sure how we're getting a double turn there. Probably only because they're an archer, and crossbows are very slow to fire. Come on, you know you want to drop this dang book already. I don't know why this guy's so stubborn about dropping it. This is basically every time. This is one of the most notorious ones to actually get a hold of. Like, I think, the two-hander one, the spear one, Helmcraft... No, I think Helmcraft is one of the guaranteed ones. Or not guaranteed, but one of the super likely ones. So a lot of the, like, armor-type situations, when you get those out of the temples, and the first time you fight through the temple bosses, it actually has a chance to roll for those. A lot of them are just available, just kind of as they are. So, like, for example, Shieldcraft and stuff like that, I think it has, like, up to 50% chance to just show up. Alright, we'll go over here. Drop a leaf for a little bit of healing, and then give it another reset. Are we seeing the problem with this particular drop system yet? Now, you might be thinking, like, oh, you know, it's like Monster Hunter. It's those rare drops that you absolutely don't necessarily need. You can figure out some other way to do it. No. This is how you get a lot of the elemental weapons. It's just where they are. Like, for example, the Holy Lance? You couldn't actually get that until you got this book. So it's your endgame Holy Spear. There was no other place to get it. No unit would ever carry it. There's just certain items that you absolutely necessarily had to get these books for if you wanted to use them in the endgame. And, yeah, the lower level you are, the less likely they are to spawn. Let me go ahead and double check that, yeah, it should still be able to drop at this level. I might actually have to go in at a higher level for it to... Wait, I already did that one. I might need to come in at 20 for it to drop. That could be the problem. What's going on? What are you talking about? Hang on, one sec. What? Alright, and I'm back. So, alright, let's go ahead and give that a shot then. So let's put you up to 27. Do I even have anything good for... Well, I guess we're gonna have to make it work. I mean, we have that other save if we need it. He's gonna be really under-equipped for this, so we'll get a Spell Ward. I think we'll go Worm Scale for this. Silver Shin Guards. Yeah, this is going to be a real bad time, because basically all I'm going to have in order to be able to pull this off... no, I don't want that. I can get in Still Fire, though. So all I'm going to have in order to be able to pull this off is finishers. Alright. Or, yeah, I mean, I guess I could go for that, can't I? Alright, we're going to go for the two-hander setup real quick. Because that I'm really, really strong at. Alright, so instead of Instill Flame, we'll do Instill Water. And this is why I didn't want to spend my points earlier. Need Augment Water first. So Aug Water, Instill Water. Okay, there we go. Aug Water right there. Instill Water right there. And then instead of Instill Flame, what can we get here? Squash, probably not a terrible idea. Dragonfly could be useful. I feel like Reflect... Actually... Yeah, there should be a decent bit of poison flying around. And Bind. Okay, we're gonna put Stop Ward for now. Do I have any empty saves? Alright. We're just gonna use save states then, because I don't wanna lose my save. Right, nope, didn't spawn that time. Give it a few more seconds. Give it another go. That looks like him in the middle. Alright. Yeah, that looks like him right there. So we are aiming at Derwin this time. So let's see if this is possible. In all practicality, it should be. Downside is we wasted one of our class changes for nothing, but should be alright. Gonna leave it on fast forward, though. Wait. Did I seriously not pick up any strengthen items for this? Holy crap, I'm an idiot. Alright. We'll just put on a dodge. Because our dodge is garbage right now, so we'll go here. Nice. As you can see, they do a ton of damage. But the plus side is, because we've got a two-hander, we can basically wipe entire groups like nothing. And parry like crazy. Right, as long as Derwin stays out of the fray here, but yeah, we're super slow. So Grand Cross... Gone. Gone. Alright, let's do this real quick. We might be able to get the book right away. He dropped a thing. And it was armor. Alright, let's restart that fight. So strengthen, it would be nice to have, but I guess we don't have it. And anyway, I should probably explain, one of the reasons that you want to keep a hold of that Azure necklace, so it keeps you immune to stun, plus gives you a luck bonus. Not to mention a bonus to all the useful skills you could ever really need. So you got your strength, you got your vitality, you got your dex, you got your luck, you got your health, stun proof. I mean, the thing's just awesome. There's very, very few situations where I'd want to use anything but that up until we get to, like, the Fire Crest or something. Because that's just 10 to every stat and, 10 to every stat, minus 20 to your weight, and then full immunity to all debuffs. So, I mean, that one's a little bit more useful. But, in general, this is definitely the one you want to go with. Alright, I'm just going to drop a seed here. What we want to do is drag this fight onto land. So the octopus will be functionally useless as long as we bring it here. If it gets in the water and starts using its abilities, we're just dead. Right, thank you RNG, appreciate that. And this is kind of the point in the game where in vanilla, I started just crafting full heal items for use all the time. Because you constantly run into these situations where it's just like crit, 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 okay, you need a full heal. If you don't have one, well, you don't have one. Bam! Hello, sir. Goodbye, sir. Would like to take a heal there. But we're going to go ahead and save the heal for the time being. Take a short move. So we're very tanky, very slow, though. And unfortunately, we've got a throwing rock octopus, and actually, I probably should have gone for squash here. So squash is really handy in a lot of places in Frompa. So you see that little little nook over on the left? Basically, what I'd be able to do is punch those trees out of the way and just go hide in there. Alright, Sludge Bind. That sucks. I'm almost thinking I should pick up Slow Proof. Or, Slow Ward. That triple parry that rolled the first time through would have been amazing here. Because we've got a really high parry chance right now, but we're just not using it at all. That's just a shame. Alright. Back to it. But yeah, now that everybody's scaling up, they all got their stat buffing items and things. I mean, as long as RNG rolls well, it's not a difficult fight. You can probably see why. Like, if you're running a two-hander build, literally all you gotta do is survive a turn of parrying back and forth there, and yeah, that's just it. You can just pretty much one-shot anything by this point in the game. This guy didn't come in with counter for some reason. Take advantage of that. Alrighty, water's gonna do almost nothing. So those guys aren't really much of a threat. That guy is an absolute annoyance. Because we're getting hit by slow, we're way worse off than we normally would be. Especially the fact that they keep rolling those dodges. Oh my god, this wizard can go frickin' eat something here. Alright, he didn't even drop the thing I needed him to drop. Yeah, if I had a strengthen, this would be a lot better. All I can really do is sit here and heal, because both the caster and the octopus got their moves off, and everybody's hitting like nothing. And rolls a 25% through a beyond max rank parry. Awesome. Awesome! Right, I'm gonna turn the sound back to normal, though, because that music's really hard to listen to. Sorry about that. Alright, might as well just move back here a little bit. Leave the buffs as they are. See, this is the point where I probably would be considering a like a siege bow build or something like that. But then it would be really difficult to deal with a lot of weird scenarios that you can run into. Alright. So putting Fortify on. You may have noticed the guy was hitting with Flare, so Draconic stuff counts for physical for all intents and purposes. So instead of weapon attack, it's magic attack versus physical defense. So it's, it can be a bit different to deal with. Just basically leads to a situation where they're doing long-range melee damage, and, well, it tends to hurt real bad, is what I'm trying to get at here. Deflect here is, Deflect is one of the things that I ended up getting specifically for all of these octopi and things, when they end up spawning in with throwing rocks, which tends to make them a little bit difficult to deal with. Thankfully, griffins and stuff like that can't spawn with throwing rocks, but for now we gotta deal with this guy. So, one alternative plan here is to actually skip the spear book for the time being, and just go only for the two-hander one. Probably don't want to do that, though. Because, yeah, this map's not particularly difficult to get to. Pretty much any of the classes can pull it off, potentially. Especially the two-hander ones. And I would think coming in with a higher level knight might be the way to do it. Alright, that'll get rid of this guy. So that's one less problem to deal with. Let's do it. Pop, pop. Also, by this point, they usually stop carrying around reflect damage. Alright, Magician. I don't really need this card, but it's one extra stat. And I figure this is an okay tile anyway. So sometimes you want to give them an awkward angle to run around, so that they take an extra tile to run around your side or something like that. So a lot of times you'll see, like, okay, they can take 2 extra tiles if they want to take the better swing, basically. And then you create a situation like this, where she ended up delaying herself a good bit. Unfortunately, there's that sludge bind. I really probably should have just gone farther away, to be honest. Man, sludge bind is so friggin' good these days. I can definitely buy it as more of a move that somebody would actually bother to have. And that was one of those issues that I had with Vanilla, that there's so many moves in there that's like, it's great, it's here, but who in their right mind would ever use this? It's funny, because almost all of them had some small use somewhere. Oh, yeah, no, there we go. Dead. Almost all of them had some small use somewhere. But, just, yeah, some of them were super hard to justify. Like, okay, just going down the list. So, Lightning, it could potentially paralyze, right? But it was, I mean, so could Dark. So, it usually came down to, why would you use anything but Dark, in most cases? I think we'll just up dodge again, because that might give a chance to avoid Sludge Bind. Anyway, so yeah, Lightning you could paralyze, but so could Dark. You had Storm Spark for Bind, or for Shackle, but again, so could Dark. You had Water there with Sludge Bind, which could Hobble, so could Dark. You had your Poison move. So could Dark. Except I think it was like single tile for Water and AoE for Dark there. You had Earth. It could Petrify. So could Dark. They could do all kinds of debuffs for messing with your accuracy. So could Dark. Just like pretty much every single one just boiled down to, why are you not using Dark for attack and Light for recovery? And most of the time it was just, that was the flavor of the week. That's what we went with. I'm sorry, our normal soup of the day ran out. It's just Dark soup all day. Alright. So, continuing on. Boy, oh friggin' boy. I wish I had Deflect, but then again, Parry was being a bit more useful here. It's funny because it turns an octopus into an archer for all intents and purposes, but a really beefy one, because it takes about 4 turns to deal with it. So I gotta get away from that caster. Turn that right off. Turn it off. There we go. Don't mess with that. I know it's a vacuum, but we don't mess with it, do we? No mess with vacuum. What's up? One more what? More waters? Okay, yeah, no problem. Get your drink. One sec. Okay, and back. So let's continue on. Oh, you roll a perfect parry turn. Well, we've got a buff if we crit this guy. Well, it was a nice thought anyway. So, Wizardlington's coming on over. We need to make as much distance between us and them as possible. Hopefully take one more turn where we're not getting slowed down. And actually, if it's going to be like this... let me make sure that there's any others that have a... yeah, okay, so apparently all of them start being more likely at 25, have a minimum of 20, but all the gear is, for, well, I mean 25 plus, but OV has the requirements a little different. So, okay, there's actually a way that we can do this quick if we have our turn here. If we're able to roll a bunch of parries, we can actually just go... Okay, come on. Crit. She's got Steadfast. I was going to say we'd be able to go and throw out a Thunder Beast. We could just shackle him. Alright, well, we can wipe these two at any rate. So that's going to be a large chunk of their damage gone. We're not going to have to rely on parry as much. What do we get here? We got loyalty and we got luck, so not really too fussed about either one. Health is still pretty high. I'd like to deal with this caster because he's by far the biggest threat right now. So, yeah, casters get to be an interesting problem by this point in the game. So, for one thing, as you can see, Sludge Bind, so they can kind of just lock you down and prevent you from reaching them. They've got pretty decent range, especially the regular wizards and enchantresses. Enchantresses, there we go. Alright, parry there would have been real nice, because now we're within kill range. Oh, come on! Anywho. So yeah, what we end up running into is that, yeah, they can basically slow you down, they can keep hitting you with stuff, they can get around most types of defense, so if you've got really high physical, they'll go ahead and usually hit you with the regular stuff, so like high phys, low resistance, they'll hit you with the standard stuff. If you've got high resistance and even medium physical, there we go, we're dead. Oh god, dude, I hate these guys so much. They're a real annoying problem, because your best defense against endgame casters is dodge. And yeah, the problem is your second best defense against them is heavy armor with low dodge. So it's just coming up with an armor situation that'll deal with them is problematic, but with the spear builds, we'd actually be able to pull it off. So first off, I'm going to spend the first turn popping a ginseng here. Second turn, going to be popping a dodge. If I see if that one warrior there wasn't running, I'm assuming she's probably running Dynamo Plate. Yeah. If she didn't have Steadfast and she got knocked back, that fight would have been a win. Because that was the one thing that prevented that fight from happening. The fact that the caster got his Sludge Bind off. So yeah, that's another thing. A lot of their debuffs that are paired together are specifically one of two things that you can only have one immunity at any given time. So it creates a situation where you've got to you basically got to pick which one you think is the scarier one at any given time, and just avoid that. So Leaden is relatively scary, but it's also creating a situation where, you know, parry can just repeatedly be used over and over. It's still got a at least 50% chance of succeeding here. I think with this build it's like 45%, but still, like 45% chance to block it anyway. It's reliable enough. So that part's not as much of a problem, but it's just the fact that, yeah, he gets slow off and then immediately can take another turn, because casters are very light. They're pretty nimble. So they'll usually end up hitting you real good like. So let's see, if I throw out an early Thunder Beast here, let's kind of disable this guy. That'll prevent some early damage. We're going to go run over this direction. See, if I run back and forth, he's a little bit confused over which direction to take. Because the Warlock's always trying to make a beeline for where you are. So if I'm constantly changing which direction I'm in, then maybe he'll take different routes. Unfortunately, he didn't take that upper route that I was hoping he would. But, oh well. So we'll go for the Purify there to heal that one. Yeah, if I throw out a bunch of Thunder Beasts here, that's probably the way to go. Maybe just bum rush him at this point. If I can get enough counter parries and counters to get 100 TP. I should just need one solid hit for that to happen. If not, I'll probably take a swing and run. Or that'll happen. Alright. We're gonna run, we're gonna... Actually, let's see. If we do a sweep here... Alive, alive, alive. If we do this, potentially disabled, potentially disabled. If we do a running Thunder Beast... Not really worth it. Okay. So we're going to take this corner over here. There's one of their guys not moving at the moment. They don't really have any recovery options aside from their Warlocks, so... One way or another, he's the guy to go for. Deflect is going to be very necessary very soon here. Oh wait, right, they have a Cleric. Okay, well, no, I have to deal with that guy then. Warlock, you are such a dick. Now you might be thinking, hey, what... Maybe you can just reroll the fight till he's not there. Yeah, but that's boring. Might end up doing that, though. No. Just gonna just liberate. Yeah, it's good to see stuff like Liberate being available much earlier. That was another annoying problem in vanilla. They had a whole bunch of debuffs that they wanted there to be like tiers of debuffs as you went up. But what it created was a situation where just some debuffs were really OP in some parts of the game, then worthless in other ones. Like, that sucks. Like, okay, Stun was almost universally useful throughout most of the game until randomly a bunch of stuff just started being immune to it in the end game. Shackle was pretty much debilitating early on, but then you had a bunch of cheap abilities to deal with it later. It's just, yeah, there were weird problems with it. Okay, so you know what? What I'm going to do, I'm going to go back to this fight, right? I'm going to go back to this one. I'm going to finish it off, and I'm actually going to redo Farampa, because I want to do this with a Knight. Because I'm going to need some new equipment. So it's only 3 fights in at this point. What is that? Yeah, raises mind. That's good. Because I got a strength card and I got a mind card in this fight here, so it'll be more interesting and more consistent to just do it this way. Because the spear method is clearly stronger. I don't want to keep re-rolling over and over and over to get that fight. So we know that we're going to need at least 20. 25 is the ideal. And we know that a Knight is going to more than likely be the way to go about it. There we go. Alright. So now he's at 14. The reason I say this is that, yeah, now he's able to get Rampart 2. Rampart 2. There we go. Alright. And now we're going to go ahead and retreat. And we are going to head to the store. So you can upgrade to a Spatum at this point. Alright, Magic Reflect. It's whatever. Heater Shield is all well and good. I can get a different set of gear, I think, though. what kind of heavy shields we got? Is the heater really the next one? Alright. That's fine. That's perfectly fine. Armor-wise, should have all this stuff. No reason... Well, okay, I'm gonna pick those up for good measure here. What messages am I getting here? Okay, that's all good. Do I have regular greaves? Yes, I do. Just making sure I've got everything that I need here. Alright, free sidestep just in case, which reminds me... Get the water one. Get the wind one. And I might as well just get one of all of them, just in case I need to train it later. Okay, except for ice, which is fine. Alright, what am I not using here? Bronze, very unlikely to be used. Circlet, unlikely to be used. Alright. Now buy some buff items, because I can't believe I forgot those. Even if I can't afford very many of them. Alright. So 16's his next upgrade here. And we're ideally just going with the knight. So what we're going to do, first order of business is we're going to go through the front like we did before. And we're going to get up to that same spot. So we're going to get up to that fight. And then we're going to just see what level we're at. I think we're probably going to be at like 18 or 19. Which means we're going to have to take some of them on the right side. Okay, first order of business is that cleric. He's going to be on us within a couple turns. We're not really going to be able to finish anything off in that time, and we're already getting knocked backwards. Kind of a shame that you can't use Aegis on yourself, or Aegis, or whatever you really want to call it. But yeah, it's your regen move, basically. I probably would have been nice to have the ability to charm stuff, because then you could... Actually, no, you can't use it on a knight. That wouldn't work. I will be able to get regenerate later, though. So if now that I'm looking at the numbers, probably a spear lord running divine is going to be the strongest thing. Actually, it might even be just running water now that I think about it, because I mean, sludge bind for mass slow. You've got yeah, just going to take the safe move here. So sludge bind for mass slow. Then you've got Purify for healing poison and healing at the same time, because I'm not going to be able to run poison immunity later. Thank you for running that low chance there, Mr. Griffin. Gonna have to probably take him out first. I mean, there's a decent number of options, all things considered. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go take out that cleric first. Friggin' Talon Dive, you can't even counter it. Let me move, please. I know I'm a slow, slow bastard. Alright. Almost got enough points to just finish him outright. So, when we hit him with Ruination, it won't even matter that it doesn't finish him, but for now I want to take the safe move. So he's probably going to take that ramp upwards. If he takes the path I think he's going to take, just basically going right and then up and then hopping up, we can still hit him from down here because Ruination has a lot of vertical forgiveness. Or he's going to go right there. Okay, that works too. No complaints from me. Please miss. He can't miss that one. Alright. Come on. Relax on all the aggression, please. I get it. You guys are fast. Relax. Alright. Alright. And yeah, that almost finishes him, but what we're going to need is we're just going to go right here, drop a Mending Seed. For the sake of safety, I'd like to drop a Strengthen, but I need to save it. I wish Talon Dive didn't have such long range on it. Like, I honestly feel if it's gonna have a lot of forward range, that it should at least have lower vertical range, because you seriously can just go anywhere and keep spamming it over and over and over and over. Which, yes, I mean, it's their whole thing. It's just, yeah. That about sums it up. It's just, yeah. Alright. It's alright, we'll make it work. I just gotta stop critting and hitting everything. So, also, equipment-wise, we're kind of in a weird spot at this very second. So our next upgrade would be the Trident. The Spatum is kind of your go-to for a decent chunk of the main game. So yeah, from there it goes up to the Trident, which then goes up to, what's it called? I forget at the moment. But boy, oh boy, I'd love to have a turn. Any day now. They promised it was coming in the mail. Alright, come on, I know, I'm slow. Stop doing that. Alright. So, where did I last save? Because I think it was right before all that setup, wasn't it? Alright. Alright, give me just a sec. Alright. Actually, wait. This isn't the one that I wanted, because I wanted those two cards. Blah. Alright. Fast forward mode. Yeah, I gotta set it up a little bit better. Can't believe I didn't save. What a numbnuts move. There we go. Okay. So let's do all of that again. A little bit better this time. So sell all this, sell all this. Sell everything that we have two of. As well as a few other things. Not selling the Wart Dart, because that could be really useful, actually. In fact, I'm kind of tempted to see if maybe I should, I'm tempted to see if maybe I should use that. Because even without skill, the ability to charm stuff would be pretty handy. Alright, and I think we'll probably go for a bit of a lighter build this time. As well as gauntlets. I think, Well, we'll see. We'll see. We'll get more plumes this time instead of the draconic stuff. Gives us a bit more options. Out of curiosity, is there any particular reason that this would be doing better? No, I think it's just level type stuff. Alright, so we'll be going avoidance setup here, but then running a heavy shield. I'll go ahead and learn Rampart 2. Anything else that we might want to learn here? I mean, Slow Ward is looking... yeah, looking pretty handy. Guardian Force we're never going to use. Okay, we might use it later, but anyway. So, let's get Rampart 2 in there. Godog Fire, doing a decent bit of that. And then I need to make more use of Phalanx for sure. Alright, Save it there. Let's do this. This time with less completely floundering about like an idiot. So once we get to 16, we'll get a lot more options. So yeah, let's just get you out of the way. That's stupid. He can fly. Why did I do that? Doesn't matter. It's fine. It's fine. Alright, let's hit this guy. Let's drop a phalanx right here so they can't land behind us. It's fine. It's still technically winnable. As Vale would love to hear being said. Alright, so I should probably explain. A lot of this build right now is in an awkward spot. So, armor-wise, if I go for the heavy stuff, we're going to be too slow to deal with a lot of things. If I go for the fast option, we're going to be too lightly armored to deal with a lot of things. So what I'm trying to do is just a mix of both, which probably will just end up resulting in problems. But there we go. Gonna try to keep messing with this birdie here. And unfortunately, they came in with all the casters in the world. Alright, this is looking more manageable if we can survive the turn. Because all we gotta do is pop a phalanx right there. She's gonna have to take some extra time to spin around. Deal with casters, take one more recovery turn. Because they can do about 100. Alright. Now at this point we can retreat. Probably deal with one of them at a time. Actually, if we drop this right here, then we don't have to deal with them, period. Alright, one quick sec. Alrighty, that was one quick puppy outing. Certainly won't complain about that. Right. So we'll go ahead and drop a phalanx right there, and hopefully she won't be able to catch us now. Because we really need to stop getting hit 50 gajillion times. Okay, really now. This is just awkward right now. That's fine. Fine, we'll get the chain in here. There. Get that little bit of extra health. Gonna be a little bit slower. Alright. So best option I see here is just to take a hard right immediately. Go strengthen. Actually, that probably would have helped out last time too. Though not necessarily. It was mostly getting ranged before we could get close that was the problem. Alright, I'm just gonna pop a quick leaf right here. Put a phalanx right there. Okay, it didn't do what I wanted it to, because I was hoping it would kind of give them better... It would force them to take a worse hit, but they happily got it off anyway. Alright. Can I hit them from here? Yes, kind of. Okay. Deal with all casters before they're a problem. So, once we get to Baldur tier, even though it doesn't have the same properties it did in vanilla, it's still going to be a lot more resistant than what we're running right now. Nope, Evan, no book yet. I actually ended up retreating because the knight turned out to be more effective than I was expecting. So what I'm trying to do right now is set up a little bit of a different situation here. So let's hopefully stop that guy right there, take the griffin to the front. Oh my goodness. Some of these setups, I swear. Like the griffin right there just gets 2 instant turns in a row. Basically what I need is to have a turn to sit and heal, with hopefully not a griffin all up in my face here. So I just need to take a turn to heal, need a turn for them to not have finishers up the wazoo, or tremendous shots everywhere, or all of the... Come on now. Ah, jeez. Basically what I need is a good team spawn here. Something that doesn't have a crapload of griffins, a crapload of casters, a crapload of archers. Because I could run either deflect or parry, but I can't do both at the same time, so... yeah. But yeah, the book that I was going for this time was actually the spear book. Which turns out, yeah, I did a double check. I forgot that it only spawns in at level 20. So I had to go back a little ways. Oh, we got the 5. Okay, no, it's not the 5 spawn, but it's still a lot more manageable. Alright. We're going to retreat. We're going to take out the griffin first, because if I try to go after the healer, we're just going to get pecked to death. We're going to get forested. Give me a fortify. Try to take some of those hits a little bit better. I'm fairly certain we're taking those hits on armor anyway, but doesn't hurt to be sure. Right. I want to drop a phalanx eventually, but not yet. Alright, this guy's going to attack next. Oh, piss off. Piss off with that. Can I have a turn, please? Thank you. But yeah, so basically, like I was saying, what we've run into is a lot of shenanigans. The game is not being nice today. Doesn't tend to be. Blah, with these Brecken Griffins, because yeah, the counter to Griffins is 1 HKs. I don't have those. Not for this setup, anyway. Alright, we'll just go full heavy setup then. And then once we hit 16, it should be a lot easier. 'Cause yeah, at that point you get to get all that Baldur stuff. At which point the casters can stop being a problem, because then you can have both heavy defense and spell defense. And if you're able to do that, well, you're able to hold up a hell of a lot better. Anyway, how are you doing today, Evan? How's stuff? Alright, that should allow me to finish him. Yep, exactly enough. Now if we can just survive the next turn. So you going okay? Watch Smash Direct, everyone was disappointed. What happened? Ah, for crap's sake. Alright, maybe what we'll do, we'll go ahead and take a time math fight. Because I need 16 here so that I can get past this little bubble. Basically, around 14, there's that little bubble where knights don't have access to spell resistance yet, so they have a little bit of a hard time getting past certain enemy types, casters especially. Another Fire Emblem character was announced. Really? Don't they have like most of the new characters in there at this point, and none of the old ones for some reason? Like, how is it that the GBA ones are oftentimes considered some of the best ones, and then they have none of the characters from that in there? Unless it happened to be, like, Elwood or Hector or something. Lyn was OP. I really like the GBA ones. They're fun. The GBA just had a lot of good strategy games on it. Alright, if we can drop one of these guys, we can't. I was going to say if we could drop one of them, then we could potentially make some progress here, but no luck. My goodness. They added a 3 houses character? Oh. Well, I mean, I heard it's good. I've never played that one, truth be told. I didn't have too much interest in it. I mean, it seemed good. It seemed good, I'll say that much. Just go back to strategy heavy. Yeah, it's not the stuff that sells, apparently. Wish they would as well. Like, the more I look at this game, I don't think we'll ever get something like this again. At least not anytime soon, until there's like some massive renaissance or something for strategy games, which I think most of the super strategy-heavy stuff is coming in on the PC anyway. Like all your battle techs and things like that. There we go. That's most of their potential gone. They're not running any finishers, which is kind of what I was forgetting in Farompa. They're always going to come in with at least rank 2. There we go. So at this point, all we gotta do is survive it. See, 3 houses went big. FFT is garnering interest on Twitch with the AI tourney. Yeah, I've been meaning to take a look at that. Hopefully get some cool stuff out of that. We'll see how the FFT gacha does. Yeah, I guess we will. Kind of one of those teeth grindy kind of things. Like, yeah, it's technically a game. You certainly press buttons, all right. It just looks so much like every time that we do a game night or something like that. My cousin always likes to play a lot of those, and it's always just like, hey, look, you pressed a button and some lottery happened, and everything exploded, and there's numbers everywhere. And then your people died, and you got to replace them by playing more lottery and throwing more money at the game. It's like, I don't know. These don't look like a game to me. I don't know what to tell you. You're sitting there, and everyone's throwing numbers at each other. But we'll see how it does. Lots of mobile games due to travel. Fair enough. Well, I mean, mobile games, yeah, but I mean, like, in general, when there's actually a game, like, you know, a game is a game. Never spent time? Fair enough. Well done, you definitely did better on that one. I don't know, I played a few of those kinds, like, not those kinds exactly, truth be told, get a little nauseous from even looking at them, but in terms of... There we go. Silver Ward, that's what I need. I'll sort out so many problems. And we get the Lorica, and we get the Silver Guards. Full Silver is my frickin' jam for Knights. Anyway. There we go. Yours is good? Linger Sword was one? True. True. Those ones did look like they were actually a game. Truth be told, I usually just play emulators. As far as my phone goes, like, I was talking earlier about that, there was that one, Silver, Pokemon Silver, not really a remake, but it's kind of like, how the hell would I even describe it? It's basically an overhaul mod to make it into an open world type situation. But always playing ROMs and that kind of thing. Or what am I saying? Always playing mods and all that kind of thing. And that one just definitely captured all mobile type related stuff recently. As far as personally. Sorry if I'm talking like an idiot today. For the last last few days, I've been up pretty much all night, taking a puppy outside repeatedly. A little bit brain dead. Alright. I can finish you. And then we're going to pop down here, which should force him to take a long move. I feel like we're probably getting the worst end of that deal with that move, but we're now in a position where he should probably only hop side to side. We can take a turn to heal. Take a long move this way, and then drop a Phalanx right here. And then face this direction, and hopefully... Oh, crap. Please miss. Good. Good, 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 good. Empowered Griffins are terrifying. Nice! Okay, yeah, this setup really works. I really like the one-handed spear setup. Freaking one-shot Griffins, get out of here. Awesome. And even pooped out a gold nugget. Like, oh crap! About to get friggin' lasered with a bunch of spears. And then he disappeared. Back into the data. So, okay, so, quick thing. I forget what it's called off the top of my head right now, but did you guys see that there was actually a attempt to bring back... Well, there was sort of a spiritual successor to TO and Ogre Battle and all that kind of thing that actually was supposed to be a mobile game from a few years ago. As in, apparently the last anyone's heard of it was a conference where they confirmed that it was still being developed in, like, 2018 or something. And then nobody's really heard of it since, as far as I'm aware, but apparently Matsuno was in on it and stuff like that. But yeah, it wasn't exactly the same. It looked like it played like a very low-scale version of like March of the Black Queen or something. No, not Unsung Story. It was, I think it was like Lost Legion or something like that. I might be thinking of another name, but I think it was Lost Legion. But what interested me is, like, I wasn't really seeing how it was supposed to be a spiritual successor. Then I looked at it. It played a little bit like a mix of a normal, you know, mobile game type situation mixed with Ogre Battle, kind of, except on a much smaller scale. Like, much smaller map and all that kind of thing. Anyway, so it was... Yeah... We were discussing about it last year, I think. But yeah, so it looked interesting. Like, it was basically a mix of that on a smaller map with maps that looked pretty... Not maps. Maps looked different. The art style was the usual kind of stuff you'd expect, but as far as... God, man, my brain is fuzzy today. As far as the menus, they look just like this. Like, suspiciously like this. Like, literally copy-pasted from this. Maybe they're a placeholder, I don't know, but... hang on, can this guy use Squash? No, WK can, but not this guy. Alright, whatever, let's just go. I probably should be using WK for this. Alright, so here's the trick for this map, in case you missed it the first time. Basically what you do, stab a bunch of stuff in the face, put a bunch of phalanxes down, then yeah, you just kind of hide behind stuff. So right now, it's currently just set up. We're going to get them all stuck around here, so... Take another stab at this guy. Drop Phalanx right there, and I will be right back. Just a sec. Alright, so we got a really, really rough spawn here on this particular map. So what we need is we need to actually do something about this. Let's see, we got a Wither here, that could do some stuff. Got a Ruination on that guy. Not super useful. Part of the problem is that we actually want them to be meleeing as much as possible, but since the throwing rock spawn thing happened a while ago, they can't really do that in this case. So we're just getting ranged over and over. So deflect would have been nice, but there's no way to know without going into the fight. So what we're going to do, we're going to counter whatever we can. We want to get over to the side there. So we're just kind of setting up a sort of a ghetto version of what I was talking about. Because the ideal is to go over here on the left. You just basically take this spot right here, throw a Phalanx down right there, and suddenly you're covered from breath in all but right here. And you can just drop a Phalanx behind whatever you're fighting. You know, it'll wear off, but still. The idea is just to be immune to their breath. Just because slow is really, really debilitating, and that's just not something you want to deal with. It's okay. And eventually, we'll actually get a turn. Alright. But yeah, the nice thing about Phalanx is it allows you to block off all of these kinds of moves, because a lot of finishers, a lot of animal attacks, all that kind of thing, will specifically require that 2-tile range, and this way you can set yourself in a position where you can actually do something about it. Just throw the Ruination out here so we can start building up more TP. But since they're throwing out a bunch of abilities, they will eventually hit you with stuff anyway. Parry can mostly carry you through. It's just being able to tank it all out that's a little bit of a hurtful thing sometimes. Those dang ranged attacks, man. Burning through so dang many items. Saw an AC2 stream. That happens? Holy crap, that's like a unicorn, man. How'd it go? Was it like a new guy doing it, or Or what? Details, man! Alright. Let's see, 95, 96... Yeah, all of the injured ones are just backing off, which they never really do. That's frustrating. You know, for a 60% attack, that thing sure seems to hit consistently. There we go. That's more like it. Let's see, 202, 202... Alright, whatever. A counter should finish that guy off. But this is more or less the situation you want to set yourself up with for this kind of map. It's like whenever there's no healing, just put yourself in some sort of defensive position and just keep on smacking. And then hopefully you have enough items to make it through. And I really hope I don't have to retreat here, but the reason I'm not too concerned is even if we do have to retreat, we're still in an okay position to do so. Because if we have to retreat, then I can just go through and duel this with the White Knight. We're going to have spears maxed out by that point. And then hopefully for a lot of these we won't have to use as many healing seeds. Hey Cal, by any chance would I be able to get you to send that via Discord? Because I can't actually open it at the moment. And it won't be showing up if I open up Twitch in another window. Alright. One more Mending Seed. Let's back it up. One more Phalanx out, and hopefully get a little bit more help here. Thank you. Alright. I get it. You've got all the Thunder Breath. Crap, man. So the nice thing is, we can just take a step forward at any given point. Just throw out a Ruination. This is usually way more damaging than the strategy usually is. Or rather, this is way more strategizing. This is more strategizing, really? Thanks, brain. I mean, I thought I turned you on this morning, but fine. Apparently, I'm just completely brain dead. But no. This is not usually something that's this damaging. Like, I shouldn't be going through 20 healing leaves in a single fight. Especially this one. There's like some baby crap right here. Crap. I needed that to hit, but at least we got some int out of it. Like I said, worst case scenario, we come back with a White Knight. It's stronger anyway. And has more options. But if it's at all possible, I want to go ahead and get through it now. Just normally these guys spawn in with a attack token instead of breath and throwing rocks and all this other crap. Yes, they're only doing 20 to 50, but crap, it's so consistent. They're all fast and whatever. Alright, thank you for your contribution of yet another 120 damage round. Okay. I know, I heard you, Miss Bossy. But it's almost lunchtime, we're not getting more straws. I need you to wait. We're gonna have lunch, okay?
Lunch?
Yeah, we're gonna have lunch.
Yay!
Yeah, lunch!
Turkey.
Turkey, exactly. Alright, we're gonna play it risky here, largely because if we do get, like, critted and KO'd here, honestly, I'm okay with it. Because we've taken so many resource losses this fight. Alright, let's get you some turkey. Be right back. I am being ordered to bequeath turkey. One sec. Alright, back to it. Let's take double stab on that guy. Thankfully they can't dodge worth a crap, and that should be rank 8 right there. All the things. Means we can do Charybdis. Say boom! I really like Charybdis. I don't know how you're... Like, originally I called it Charybdis, but apparently it's Charybdis. So, whatever. And yeah, I guess we will be getting to level 20 on time. At this rate, anyway. Right. Behemoth in Monster Hunter World is that? Does it slow down? Or does it inflict slow? So yeah, by the way, what we're doing with the Knight right now, it is objectively worse than the White Knight. It's just, when I started going White Knight, that's when I wanted to be, like, full-blown endgame, and then I want that to transition into, I want the White Knight to transition into Lord, which hopefully will give us enough stats by that point that we'll just be able to function. Also, this time, as you can see, instead of being neutral, those guys are actually fighting the AI for us. No, but it's a bag of butts. Always fun. Let me see what this message was. Alright, I'm just gonna wrap this one up real quick while I'm muted, actually. I got a, finally, my kind of well, I guess I would say second, but it's more like my fourth job thing is finally starting during the day here. So, should just be able to wrap this up real quick while I'm muted. And, yeah. Well, I'll just keep talking until then, because it should be a relatively quick fight. I don't believe Exorcism counts as an offensive action, so these guys are just going to sweep the map for us, more or less. It's really, really handy when this happens. Because, yeah, the two just kind of fight each other. We can just go ahead and collect those cards, like we're going to pick up that tower card. Goodbye, dragon. See, now, why couldn't these kinds of things be available for kind of later in the game? Actually, come to think of it, now that I think about it, it totally is available for one of the really difficult maps. Alright, whatever, we'll see. We'll see. I can probably drop a Charybdis on these two. Almost. You know, it's going to be enough to finish her off. It's fine. Wait, does that actually damage scale? No, it's accuracy, but it's really strong anyway. It's really strong, especially against very easy-to-kill things. Alright, we're not going to waste too many items here. I just need to exercise one, and then we can deal with the other two. I don't know if this will make them hostile. I hope not. So yeah, we should be able to get past this one with just one item use. Alright, does she get another attack off? Yes, so that one's down. Put the Charybdis right there. Take another Vit card. Fantastic. Nah, we're gonna take out that one. Interestingly, he's still not attacking back. Huh. I mean, this guy's just giving his back now. That's interesting. Huh. So in theory, I could just train any augment here if they spawn like this. Alright, good to remember. And there we go, that's the map. So next time... Is that going to be enough? Yeah, we get to exactly 20. God dang, I'm good. Alright, anyway, no, I'm just kidding. I don't actually have that much of an attitude. Alright, so this is all the stuff that we needed for this. So what we're going to do, we're going to keep doing this one until we get that middle spawn there. And then as soon as the job thing gets going here, I'm just going to mute it. We're going to try to run through, I think that's the guy right there. Yeah, there we go. That's our guy, Hammond. Gonna select it on him. And just a reminder, the reason the save states are used are just to save time. It doesn't actually help anything with this fight. Mildly competent? What happened? Who did a mildly competent, and how? So yeah, the nice thing about knights here is that when it comes to endgame casters, they should be able to resist all their different flavors. Downside is one-handed spears get really weak around this point. So we're basically going to be relying on finishers for the most part. Which basically means I needed to have Aug Fire for this, but I don't. Got a decent amount of parry. Alright, apparently poison's going to be a problem. The cool thing about Charybdis, though, is that, yeah, you can slow down big old groups. Solve a whole lot of problems that way. Hi there, Svendragon. Unfortunately, yeah, I was actually about to wrap it up here because job thing I was waiting on was happening. But yeah, how's stuff? How's stuff with you? I've been basically resetting a few things to set up a little bit more cheesy stuff for this. Probably should have come in with a slow ward. Need to remember that for next time. Need to also remember to keep this guy the hell away from the water, because that slowdown is gonna hurt real bad. I'm gonna drop a phalanx right there, because I need a little bubble that I can get into. Stuff's good. This stuff's pretty busy on my end. Been kind of training for all kinds of new work and all kinds of different things, and chaotic but good. Best way to put it. Let's throw down another Charybdis. So yeah, Charybdis is going to give us a decent amount of punch for very little investment price-wise. So I'm actually going to be throwing that out a lot. That's a lot better than I gave it credit for initially, because I was usually rating everything based off damage, but if we can get mass slowdown on everything, the slow is guaranteed. It's definitely more damaging than many of the other kind of, I like to just call them basic tier finishers. But there we go. Got everybody slowed down. I can take a heal. Drop a Phalanx to screw up their movement. Drop it right there. Which basically means we only have 2 that can actually hit us effectively. Better to be busy than have nothing to do. Also true. And then, yeah, we'll worry about the actual guy with the actual drop later. And in fact, in many cases, we can actually attack stuff while not even attacking with these phalanxes, because if we can get everybody trapped in boxes, we can screw up their movement real good. And if you could stop multi-turning me, that'd be amazing. God dang, I really, really don't like endgame casters. Because, yeah, they'll just screw you up real good. So, like, oh yeah, let me just hit you with a slow, then a rhyme, then a flare, then just go ahead and turn you into friggin' rock. Like, dude, stop! Just let me move! Yeah, there we go. We're already screwed. Yeah, alright. This spawn will not work. This spawn will not work at all. So what we need, silver's nice. I need the health and beef from the shield. Helmet would also be nice. Because yeah, I think this will be the stronger contender for this particular instance, because it's not the basic casters that we're running into. And 1 sec. Well, this one, I wouldn't really necessarily call it similar to 6 or well, to Final Fantasies specifically. Like that, there was one that they copied, as in there was FF Tactics, which was basically like it was the original version. It wasn't, well, okay, that one wasn't the original of anything really. It was the. Do I want more avoidance? I think we're just gonna go for avoidance actually. That'll help out a lot. So, basically, FFT was the... What would we call it? It was basically the sort of distillation of all the ideas from the original Tactics Ogre. So this game, in its original SNES version, was what kind of inspired FFT. Like, they saw TO and they're like, oh man, we should slap a Final Fantasy logo on this and see what happens. So there we go. That guy spawned. What are we looking at fight-wise? We got 1 caster, 1 healer, 1 octopus. Yeah, this is doable. So we're going to lock in this one and give it a go. I'm going to charge the first time through, because I need to get to that healer. Actually, I need to get to the caster first. So build up TP, get to caster, throw on a strengthen at some point. As long as it's not a holy elemental, we're alright. And then, yeah, any second now, I'm just waiting for the message to go get going here. Right. Fine line between inspiration and copying. Well, it was... Okay, so basically it wholesale, like, lifted the story, more or less. But what it did, this game has 3 routes. It's got a crap load of different endings and whatever else, and basically what they did was, okay, so now it has 1 route. Let's just, like, combine multiple characters into 1 character for pretty much everybody. Like, for example, Weegraph would be, like, a mix of parts of Vice with parts of Lenar from this one, with also technically parts of some of the other bosses, but that's kind of its own thing. Girly, you ate all the turkey. I'm gonna... Okay, I need to go find her something else. But yeah, so it was just like a mix of all different characters. You got, what's his face, Delita in that one. That's a mix of both versions of Vice, because he turns into completely different characters on different routes, while also being... what would you say he is? I mean, he's basically half of the characters in Law, for all intents and purposes. It's just... It was basically that over and over and over, where you just have one character that's suddenly all the characters. It was several routes distilled down to one. It added the skill system, so that was new. And then when they remade this one, they added a skill system to it. So that's kind of how that all went. So this is just sort of what eventually became of all the ideas from both of those games. All right, drop a Mending Seed. Hopefully, don't get hit with anything too serious. I'm gonna drop him right there. Because we're not actually trying to win this fight just yet. Need to deal with the caster guy. Wait a minute, did that guy not spawn in with his skills or something? Is he just an attacker? No, I don't... Okay, I don't know why he hasn't completely wrecked my butt yet, then. See, this looks kind of better than FF when I think about it. Well, the whole premise of this one was supposed to be, it was like chess. It's like RPGs, but it's chess. And that's basically what they said the inspiration was, originally. That they saw... Apparently, Matsuno... It's funny because FFT, this one, like this entire series, they were actually inspired... it was the same guy that headed them up. But basically what they said was that they were watching a Japanese game show that was a bunch of people in life-size chess pieces, like sparring on TV or something like that, and they're like, man, this would be a pretty sweet game. So they basically did that, and then focused the famous one man... Oh. Well, I mean, he's got to do something, right? Alright, but anyway, so yeah, ultimately, they came up with this whole story based on a genocide in Europe, and then just kind of went from there. So first thing we're gonna have to deal with then is the octopus, and then... Alright. Okay. Alright, we should just be able to end this guy right almost here. Yeah, if he decides to go for another melee, he's just gone. And then, okay, I gotta mute it. And then I'm gonna have to go afterwards, so, thank you guys for stopping by. I'm just gonna keep this going until I get the book, basically, which should be any minute now, so. Alright. So, the Japs know how to make games? Well, yeah, seems to. But it was just an interesting, interesting story of how this game even got formed. But okay, so I gotta shut up for now. Talk to you soon. Alright, scratch that. I just gotta get going entirely. So, okay, thank you guys for stopping by. I will see you at the next opportunity. Alright, see you in a bit. Bye.